Alright, welcome back. Today we're starting a brand new Jurassic Evoultion 3 build from scratch, of course. Completely off the rails, this one. Very ambitious project, and I hope it works out and you enjoy it. So please sit back and relax. This build probably took me about 4 to 5 days, and I'm speaking like 9-10 hour shifts. Yeah, no live. So I thought I'd include commentary and some background footage for this one. I have a bad habit of not watching tutorials and just jumping head first, trying to figure things out myself. I will admit I've used the workshop to get some vehicles and ships because I just do not have the time to do that myself. It's not realistic. But besides that, I've done all the other structures and it turned out quite good actually. So I'm excited for you to see more. And this warehouse is mine. If you watch one of my park builds, it was kind of included in that. I've realized I still have the file saved, so I decided to spawn that in. Touch it up so it fits into the terrain. I just kind of kept it, so technically it's not cheating. I made the building previously. And honestly, a huge big thank you to everyone in the community that has built ships, cars and other vehicles, because I would never do that kind of stuff myself, and the level of detail they've put into it is amazing. They must have sat there for a week or more just literally working on one thing. So that is wonderful, and I do thank those people, because my park, or should I say the build, wouldn't be what it is without those things. I've also started to expand the foundation 6. I've realised, you know what, this can't be tiny. This was the moment I realised those ships are very big, and with big ships come big warehouses and big docks. So I started working on this big warehouse basically. And I remember I found it really intimidating because big warehouse or big structure means a lot of empty space, and I wasn't quite sure how I'm going to fill up the walls and the area around it to make it look real, really. I wouldn't say organic because there's nothing organic about it, but realistic, let's put it that way. As I'm doing this, I'm realizing this song is getting annoying now, so let's stop that for a second. Yeah, let's put this one on. Okay, let's go with that one. That's better. This is also the moment I realized the ship is big and there's not enough space for me to sort of build like a cargo hold in front of the warehouse. So I once again had to expand the dock. For the love of God, please ignore what I've done here. It's messy, I know, but you know, if you throw shit at a wall, it'll stick. Maybe. So I suppose that's how you can summarize my build. I'm throwing shit at a wall, hoping it sticks, okay? That could be my future merch. Throw shit at a wall and hope it sticks. Life is short, throw shit at a wall, hope it sticks. Here we go. And for the 100th time I thought, damn it, need more space. So once again, here I go expanding with the terrain tool. Right about here, I was giving myself the biggest headache trying to figure out a way to utilize solar panels on top of the warehouse and make it look good, and just nothing was working. So I've tried building a few different variations of it, but it's just all ass. It's just genuinely just was not working. I'm leaving this purposely here so you can look at my suffering. But yeah, I eventually sort of gave up and decided to focus on something else before I literally depressed myself. Here I realised I can connect the pipes to the other building, which just sort of improves the flow of the build, if that makes sense. Because you're now starting to integrate different pieces from place to place, and it just sort of flows better and it just looks more real. So this bit came to bite me on the ass afterwards, because I'm placing individual dirt texture on the wall, but if I just placed the wall right at the beginning and saved it as a blueprint, I could then use the wall continuously moving forwards. But I didn't do that, of course, because so then I had to manually add all the dirt to all the later structures, and it's just a terrible time. I probably spent more time than I should have on this roof when it comes to the solar panels, and then I was messing with some generators, just trying to make it look different, I suppose, but I ended up just sort of removing everything and just sticking to the basics. One thing that I genuinely did enjoy at university when I was doing some mesh work is visual storytelling. So I always like to add little details around the buildings I'd make, just to tell a story, like, oh look, a container slipped, whoopsie doopsie, holy crap, and then just sort of see where that leads you, because there's always a next step. You do something and it's like, oh, but because this happened, you can go to this area and then add this, and then if you follow along, there's a little story that unfolds in front of you. I don't know, it's kind of cool. Okay, this part of the recording goes on for about an hour of me just sitting here, so I guess I got hungry, or I needed a SHIT. Something clearly happened, because nothing's happening. I'll do the honors of just fast forwarding here. So I decided to take a break for the evening, and I load back in to see the ocean floor completely destroyed. I'm not sure what ruined the texture, but yeah, it was quite irritated, but also a good challenge to see what I can come up with to cover it up and push on. After making this custom wall, which is not my best work, but it's good enough, I decided to just move on to like grids and puddles, just bring out some more detail in the scene. If you ever struggle with details, just think of it this way. You don't know what to do. Okay, place a pipe down. You place a pipe down. What does pipe do? Well, there's moisture. Okay, add some moss. And then what else does pipes do? They leak. Okay, so you can now add a puddle onto the ground. Now there's a puddle, so you can add a cone. Now there's a cone, you can add a maintenance vehicle. And just in that simple sort of mindset, you can suddenly create a scene, and it just looks more detailed than if you were just to place a pipe. Yeah, it's all coming together at this point, just looking a bit better, but the problem stands. I have that big hole on the other side, So at this point I was sort of wondering like, how can I expand the scene? Because when you integrate more bits from different areas, it just pulls all together. So I had an idea here to just build a dam. I thought the dam would look good in this area, so well, check it out. After another hard day of working on this, it was time to take a break and get some rest. So after adding a few more trucks and just general detail around the main area, which I spared showing you of course, I decided to move on to my dam design. And may I also say, this is the very first time I spoke over my content and just showed the extensive work behind the scenes. So if you do enjoy this sort of form of content, let me know. If you don't, also let me know, and I can just upload the showcases of anything. Just trying something new on the channel and see what sticks. Like we said, throw share stick. What? Throw share wall and see if it sticks. Took a break from the dam because I feel like when you work on one thing for too long, you lose the spark really. Not as in you get bored, but well, you do get bored a little bit. But it's just hard to innovate and think of new designs. So I decided to go back and fix this wall because it just looked really flat and too perfect, clean. It's a bit annoying. So just added some dirt on top. And half the time really when you're building something like this, just adding details like this brings it out, and you can make something ordinary look good. And also I just kind of started to work on the road heading towards the dam, because I'm thinking of building like a dam control inside the mountain, so I need the road leading to it. Funny enough, so many people complained about the power lines, and then here I am designing my own. I just found the in-game ones to be a bit too big and clunky, just did not look in proportion to the road or the building, so I designed my own. At this point I felt like the dam was quite complete, so I decided to leave that for a bit and work on some power generators, because I wanted to build a big power station. Those power generators took me so long to figure out. I kept looking at some blueprints and they look so much better, and I was like, damn, I just want to make my own. I don't want to, steal someone else's work. So eventually I managed to at least make something that I had in mind, but eventually I did move on to build a dam control center entrance and add some more details to the road and fencing just to sort of close this area up. As I knew doing a power station is going to take a lot of effort, and I just wasn't ready to commit that. I really want to nail this industrial feeling, so I decided to build this big ass pipe going all the way down the road back to the industrial area. So once again, I'm circling back to what I said, connecting areas is important. I think it's vital for a good build. I'm not saying I'm amazing by any stretch of the margin, But once again, it's the same thing. Pipe, moss, puddle, code, maintenance vehicle, crack in the road because tarmac, blah 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 blah. It just creates this domino effect which allows you to expand, and sometimes you will build the stupidest little thing and add the littlest detail, but it'll explode into this big project. For example, when my ocean broke, I mean, I could have just done nothing really and just, I don't know. But instead, you know, I made the hole, and then I went, that looks stupid. What can this be? And then I expanded the hole. I took it all across the landscape, and I made like a riverbank, and then added the dam. It just depends how you approach the challenge. I came to the conclusion that this side of the industrial area is just a little bit empty. There's just nothing there. It's just 2 warehouses and roads and ships. I thought I probably need a storage area, and I could probably do with an office just to home it all in. I really struggled with this office design. I've built so many different shells to try and make something click in my brain like this is the one. It just would not happen. To say just couldn't happen. I've done all the floorings and I've placed the walls and ceilings. It just wouldn't work. Eventually I kind of got a rough shape and I could build from there. And obviously I will spare you every detail this time and just show you what I got at the end. So I ended up with this quite average but good looking office. We got a loading bay at the back, and yeah, I kind of went on from there with all the details, and it turned out pretty great actually. So I ended up adding the fencing, I added some more cars to the parking lot, and just some more roof detail, and this is kind of what I ended up with. Once I finished the parking lot, I thought I'd need to add some more detail around the office as you can see, it's bare bones empty. Before starting this warehouse, I flew around the map, added some more fencing around the office. I've added some trees and bushes in some areas just to try and spark an idea of how to finish it up. Because I haven't shown that on the video yet, but I was struggling a little bit with one of the warehouse sides. It's just a bit empty, and none of the bushes or trees were really sort of fitting in to the scene, but we'll get there eventually. These strokes being uneven was driving me absolutely mad every time I went past the area, and I kept telling myself, no, ignore it. You know, it doesn't have to be in a showcase, you don't have to show it from that angle, but I just couldn't live with myself. I had to get rid of them. At this point, I think we're about 4 days into me building this entire thing, and I'm starting to think, what's the point? Will the video do well? Can I maintain this quality of content moving forwards? How long will it take me to make it? I have kids, I have a job, I need to go to the gym. You know, I was ill as well, and I was just doubting myself, so I didn't record for quite a few hours while I was just slowly chipping away at this power station. Because of the burnout I was feeling, I was really struggling to try and innovate something and create like you just know, just the usual power station bits really. I looked at some of the blueprints and they look absolutely bloody amazing, but the whole point of this was to sort of try and build as much of the things I can myself, and that's sort of the fun and what makes it exciting really as content. So I built this diabolical box. I don't even know what it is, but to say the least, it did not pass the test of time, and I got rid of it as quickly as I built it. As you can see on the bridge, I've had like a lorry height check. I just thought it looked really cool. My dad is a lorry driver, so I've seen a lot of them in my time when I used to drive with him in Eastern Europe, and it's just, I don't know, just wanted to add it into my build. I really wanted like a security office heading into the power station. I really struggled with it at first. I just couldn't, nothing could click in my head. It just wouldn't work. As I was saying, I was sort of facing burnout, but I knew I needed to get this video out because I've not uploaded in months because I was dealing with my newborn, and nothing would stick, absolutely nothing. But I did finally build something eventually. I hope you like it, I guess. But yeah. After you build one too many buildings, I find it quite, personally, maybe you did too, I find it quite difficult to try and fill out the empty gaps on the walls, because you've done so many different variations of connecting bits. You just kind of draw on blanks in your mind, like, what else can I do? And then oftentimes you either do too much or too little and it still looks empty. I think I've managed to pull it off on this one, on this occasion. It doesn't look too bad, I don't think. Put it off long enough, and I finally decided to face my nemesis, which was this bloody security booth, which I just couldn't get right. But I hope you like the final design. This actually brings us to one of the last few seconds of any building recording that I have. The next one is a big showcase. So if you made it this far, I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave a comment and like and subscribe down below. And now it's time for a cinematic masterpiece. Wow, this was a tremendous undertaking. In game, I think it took 48 hours to build all of this industrial bit, I'd say. Not to count the amount of hours it took me to just edit this footage when I had like 8 hours each of just me building stuff, and I had to decide what to include. Oh, and the voiceover too. Oh god, I would hate to be the guy to count up the hours. But this was great. I quite enjoyed it. So please leave a like and subscribe if you did too. There's a tunnel, which I didn't quite showcase because it's not polished. The idea behind all of this was to do individual videos of very highly detailed areas. And then once it's all combined together, I can do one big showcase and there'll be a park, there'll be everything. So if you'd like to see that, do subscribe and like and let me know. I do get bored of projects, so I appreciate your encouragement. But nevertheless, it was a learning curve. I would like to thank everyone and anyone who managed to make it all the way through this punishment, well, self-torture. And I do genuinely hope you liked it. I'm trying to step up the content and step up everything, really. So this is where I start, I suppose. Big thanks to my missus. We do have a newborn and she's done a lot to sort of give me space to work on this. So thanks guys, and see ya.